It's Saturday and it's 1 o'clock and we are live. This is Live Intelligent Ignorance New Twist Radio, the live podcast. I've told you about the podcast all week on PhillyGoFlow.com, and now you are live here with us on the live podcast right here on New Twist Radio. For the next 60 minutes, we are looking to educate, maybe agitate, maybe enlighten. Maybe we do a lot of things, but one of the main things we want to do is have an open, honest discussion about the things that we talk about. We have some fun, we entertain. Sometimes we have some heated moments. It happens on this show. If you're a fan of this show and you've been with us since the beginning, you know that we've had some moments on this show, and we will continue to do so. But without further ado, let me bring in the star of the show, all the way from, I'm not even going to tell you where he is, but he's doing his thing. My man, Dad, is in the building. What's going on, big guy?
Jay, what's happening, man? I apologize if I sound really low today. I am on daddy duty, and I just put the young boy down to sleep, so I'm trying to keep it a little quiet, but I still want to keep the energy going because I might just wake his behind up and tell him to join the show today.
Well, that's 2 weeks in a row that you were a little quiet. Last week you were a little under the weather, and now you're on daddy duty. But hey, that's what it is, man. When you got to do live shows and the show must go on, you got to do them any way possible. And you out here, you're taking one for the team in a sense. We use that term in a lot of ways in the male community, taking one for the team. But we appreciate you for being here, and the youngin. If he joins the show, that'll be fun too. But this week there's been a lot going on in the news, a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things that we've discussed during the week because we talk to each other all during the week. I talked to a lot of friends during the week. We spoke about it briefly last week in our discussions. We talked about Virginia Governor Ralph Northam, who was shown in pictures from a medical school yearbook in possibly Klan garb, possibly blackface. I say possibly because I believe one of the pictures I saw were two people in the picture, and one was in blackface, one was in Klan garb. So I know he can't be both unless they doctored the picture. So I don't know. But there were other pictures he may have been in all. But anyway, as you know, Ralph Northam, Democratic governor of Virginia, he apologized for being in the photos and then, in a sense, retracted his apology and said that wasn't him. I don't know how you apologize for doing something and then come back and say you actually didn't do those things. If you knew you didn't do them from the rip, then there's really no point in apologizing. But anyway, I digress. He wasn't the only one that was talked about in the last week or two about being in blackface. There has been what's my man's name? Mark Herring, the Attorney General also of Virginia, was pictures surfaced of him being in blackface. He was at a costume party, and he went to the costume party as rapper pioneer Curtis Blow. He claimed that he was an avid Curtis Blow listener. He listened to Curtis Blow when in his younger days, the days when Curtis Blow was popping. And he went to the party as Curtis Blow. Okay. Also came out, and it came out again because this came out before. Joy Behar, one of the hosts, the comedian and one of the hosts of The View. She went to, I believe it was a party, dressed as a beautiful African woman. Okay, and she also had makeup to darken her skin to represent or to look like an African woman, or what she says, a beautiful African woman. And last but certainly not least, and probably not last at all, Gucci. A lot of people wear Gucci. I would direct you to check out our show on label slaves. A lot of people wear Gucci. A lot of people want to wear Gucci. A lot of people claim Gucci is their thing. Is it still your thing after this? Gucci pulled a sweater from the shelves and from the net due to its blackface design. How does a sweater have blackface design? No, it didn't have like a blackface on the front. Here's what it was: a black sweater, turtleneck type thing. I'm not big on design. I don't know if there's special words for this, but I'm going to explain it the best I can. Black sweater, turtleneck design that you would be able to pull halfway up your face. Let's say you will be able to cover your nose and be right up under your eyes. Okay? With this sweater, there is an area cut out for the lips, for your mouth. Okay? Around this hole that is cut out for your lips and your mouth is red, almost kind of to signify lipstick in a sense. Okay? This sweater bears high resemblance to some of the minstrel show characters of the early 19th century. And some of the dolls that put out, even the doll that Prada put out when Prada was pulled sometime last year, was forced to pull some of their, I believe it was bags or some of their products off shelves to remove the minstrel show style doll from their bags. Well, the sweater has that look to it, and they have come under fire for it and have since pulled the sweater off the shelves and off the internet. Now, this sweater costs $890. I don't know who would want to do that. I mean, if you're a label slave, hey, well, do your thing. But the sweater costs $890. I'm not paying $890 for something that has an extra hole in it anyway. Anyway, I digress. Spike Lee has come out to say that he is boycotting Gucci, in a sense, or he demands Gucci hire more black designers. And possibly, if there are more black designers, this does not happen. Possibly. I don't know for sure. I don't know. Ardat, I'm going to bring you into the conversation, 215-383-3992. If you have an opinion that you want heard on this conversation, hit us up, 215-383-3992 is the number to call. And if you call, press the number 1 button, and I will put you through to discuss this topic with the team. We're also going to talk about Liam Neeson, the reaction to the comments that he had in an interview earlier this week. But Ardat, I want to bring you in on the Blackface, Wrong Place conversation. How do you feel, and with the recent happenings, what are your comments on this?
And I know it sounds crazy, but it doesn't bother me as much as it should. And I'll put it this way. At least now I know what people think about us. And I hate to even bring it to the president, because I know that a lot of people draw towards the president and some of the things that he has said and done. But it seems that so much more since he became president, people are open and willing to express their feelings, especially hatred and disrespect towards people of color. This is just another round of that. So I'll start with Ralph Northam, the governor of Virginia. So immediately he comes out and apologizes, which was expected. Then he goes to say, hey, you know what? I don't even remember this picture. This picture was not me. And then he goes on to say, but, yeah, I had a picture in blackface, but it wasn't this one. He says, I dressed up as that guy, that famous guy that could sing and dance. He didn't even know the name until his wife reminded him that it was Michael Jackson. He said he dressed up as Michael Jackson and put black shoe polish on his face. And then he went on to say of how great of a moonwalk dancer that he was, and he impersonated the moonwalk during this so-called costume party that he went to. It just seems like it's a mockery. First you apologize, and this is something, and I hate to say it this way, but it sounds like he took it exactly from the Trump playbook. So we go back to those comments when Trump said, when he was talking, and it was being recorded, but he didn't realize that the mic was live, and he was talking about grabbing a woman by the pussy, and that, you know, when you're famous, they let you do whatever they want. They let you do whatever you want. He immediately came out and apologized for the comments. Then he came back and said, "Hey, yeah, no, I didn't even make those comments. That wasn't me on the recording. The recording was doctored." It seems like society has begun to follow that same rhetoric, and then we come out with who is the second guy? I don't even remember his name. Mark Herring.
Mark Herring,
he comes out
the
and says,
Attorney General.
Yes, Attorney General of Virginia. Mark Herring comes out and says that, he wore blackface, but it was in respect to a contest that he was involved in where he was imitating Curtis Blow, who happened to be one of his favorite artists. Amazingly enough, I don't think that Mark Herring could tell you 5 songs that Curtis Blow was involved in, but I'll leave that bit of trivia for one of those polished journalists that gets in front of him. And then we go back to Gucci. Gucci is one of those labels where they have repeatedly made money off of us, meaning colored people, and they really just don't care what they put out there. And I do believe that it was extremely deliberate. I'm actually getting a text right now. Somebody actually just texted me, said that the acronym for Gucci is Getting Rich Undetected, Counting on Colored People's Ignorance. I know that's a whole lot of letters, but it just goes to show that they don't really care about what they put out there because, one, I believe that it got a lot of shock value immediately. 2, they sold the sweater. They're not just going to create a product, have inventory, and do away with that inventory. That sweater's still being sold. It's just not being sold in the public eye. Mm-hmm. There are people coming to get that sweater right now, and they count on us to continually. It'll be something where this controversy disappears from the radar. Gucci is going to release something new that another rapper or entertainer is seen in, and everything is good again. It takes me back to, and I know you remember, back in the early 90s when we were young. Back in the early 90s, there was a big controversy with Tommy Hilfiger and how he said he didn't want niggers wearing his clothing. And, over time, the brand disappeared from our culture, and now it's back. I see people wearing Tommy Hilfiger all the time now. And it's almost just
forgetting
like, hey,
your history.
Let some time pass, and it'll go away. It'll blow over, and we'll be back. And I think that that's the approach that a lot of these people take. Give it some time, they'll forget, and we'll be right back to it. And I think that goes to a lot of our history. We forget a lot of our history, and we forget where we came from, and we forget the great things that we've done as people. And we allow the mainstream, the entertainment, the news, to paint us as this less than culture. And we've continually been looked at as less than from the time that they took us from our country, put us on those boats, sailed us across the ocean, and brought us here to build a nation. Because the nation is built on us. It's built on the work of, I guess we can be called immigrants, the work of I'll be honest, the work of slaves. And now what this great nation has become, we try to relegate that history and we try to wipe that out and say, hey, it didn't actually go that way. Here's what it was. It was a gentle time. And, we brought you over here to help you build better lives. And you got it now. It's the American dream. And all of the little subtle things that we'll do over time to you to keep you feeling less than, you'll immediately get enraged and you'll think back and you'll talk about the times where we did this before, and then something else will come out in a week or two and you'll forget all about it. Trump will begin talking about his wall again. Baseball season starts next week. Anthony Davis didn't get traded. Things will begin to get back to normal and we'll go back to focusing on exactly what we've always focused on. It's just a matter of time before we let it blow over.
Well, at times what happens is exactly what you just said. People fight for something in the in the short term and forget about it in the long term. They don't have the stamina to continue to fight, and that's what is kind of being counted on. That the people that fight don't have the stamina to continue the fight. In this day and age, we have we have that what's it called, the microwave society. We have that that if we don't get immediate gratification, we don't stick to it. And I don't mean every single person, but in general, and it's really building up, unfortunately, in the younger generation, younger than us, where the microwave society is very prominent. If it's not instant success, instant satisfaction. Satisfaction, is that a word? I think I just made that up.
Satisfaction.
if it's not instant satisfaction, they tend to give up on it, or they tend to get tired of it, or bored with it, or whatever the case may be. Like you said, the sweater from Gucci is going to continue to be sold. You don't price something at $800, almost $1,000 doggone dollars, a sweater, okay, at $1,000 damn near, and not continue to sell it and make money off of it. Okay, we all know Gucci makes money off of their name. That's basically what it is. Because if you put Hanes on that same sweater, you're not going to be able to sell it for the same price. Right. But since it says Gucci on it, they must have that bulletproof, fireproof, waterproof thread that they use, material. Okay, fabric. There it is. That's the word I was looking for. Fabric that they use. I don't know what it is, but I've never touched anything that had the Gucci name on it and felt like it was anything different from anything else. But that's neither here nor there. That's part of the label slaves conversation. Part of the pay less, selling their shoes for $1,000 and people buying, or $200 or $300 and people still buying them because they had the price tag. But it comes down. One of the things that I believe it comes down to, in the long run, is education, and the ignorance of education, the ignorance of what blackface is, what it represented, why it was used. You're not taught these things in school, I feel like the last 3 or 4 weeks I've been talking about things that we should be taught in school when it comes to Black history. This is Black History Month. Let's not forget, it's the 9th day of Black History Month. Okay, we're not taught certain things, and these things people remain ignorant to the things that we're not taught. Okay, because honestly, I'm going to assume that less than 5% of non-people of color go beyond their own teachings in school or about Black history. I guarantee it. Why should they? They feel like it's not their history. They're not taught that it's their history. They're not taught that it's American history. Why should they do it? I'm going to tell you why you should do it. I'm going to give you a few reasons why you should do it. Black lives matter. People say all lives matter. That's true. All lives matter. But when you have things coming out, when you have people wearing blackface, and I understand that's offensive to people, okay? Why people say the N-word that are part of the race, and then there are people that are outside of the race wondering why they can't say the word. Educate, do your own research. You'll find out why we don't want you saying the word. Why it would be best for you to not say the word. And honestly, don't ask me why you can't say the word. I'll ask you, why do you want to say the word? Why do you want to be in blackface? Okay? Ask yourself those questions, right? I was just on the phone with a friend, and I was talking about some of my own. We were talking about some of our own ignorant moments. Okay, this is Intelligent Ignorance, New to Us Radio, 215-383-3992. Give us a call. I was talking about one of my own ignorant moments where I said something that I was unaware. And I was in high school. I was unaware of I was repeating something I heard on a TV show. I was unaware that the words I was saying were offensive to a certain culture of people. Now, I could have immediately been labeled as a racist for saying these things. I was not. someone explained to me, look, don't say those words. That would be the equivalent of me saying the N word. And I said, you know what? I'm sorry. I had no idea. I did not know. I was ignorant to the fact that those words I was saying were offensive because I was not educated on the ugly history of those words. Okay, those are not words that were used in my family or in my neighborhood. I was not aware. Okay, ignorance is not bliss. It can be very dangerous, and ignorance will keep you from educating yourself on things that this country does not take the time to educate you on. I'm just being honest. 215-383-3992. Hit us up. We're talking Blackface, Wrong Place, Gucci, Joy Behar. I'm going to get into her in a second. Mark Herring, Ralph Northam. Okay. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday, Trayvon Martin. You would have been 24 years old this week. Should have been. You are 24 years old this week. Joy Behar, another situation. There's many situations. Okay, we just kind of picked these three because they were in the news recently. Joy Behar comes back out. This is a repeat cycle. This was not the first time that she came on the fire for this happening. Joy Behar went to a costume party dressed as what she called a beautiful African woman. We know Joy Behar as the host of The View. We know Joy Behar to be a comedian. Okay. And I'm going to talk about a few things here, Ardot, because, I want to talk about a few different factors. But we know Joy Hart is the host of The View. We know Joy Behar as a comedian. She wore, I guess it was traditional African garb. And by that I mean maybe it was I don't know if I don't know what it's called. I'm ignorant to that fact. I've been told, but I forgot what the fabric is called. It's not. Is it kente? I don't think it's kente. It's
Kente cloth.
I don't think it was kente, but I'm ignorant. But anyway, I digress. She wore makeup to darken her skin. Okay, now I want to ask you this, Ardot. I believe she had apologized for this before in the past. Okay, because this is not the first time that this